Today's daf is daf mem vav, but we have something to finish up here on mem hey amud beis, and we'll start with b'shas p'tirasan, which you'll see is a quote from the Mishnah, which is a little bit above Tosis Dibra Maschel Echad Zeh v'Echad Zeh. We go back to the Mishnah on daf mem hey amud aleph. And the Mishnah says that Kimaseu b'chol, kach maseu b'shabbos. So just as this mitzvah of arava in the Beis Hamikdash took place on the chol, on any weekday, it took place on Shabbos as well. And the Mishnah is talking about a year in which the seventh day of Succah falls on a Shabbos. El Shahoyim Alatim Osan, the Erev, etc. Rabbi Yochanan Broka Omer, Charoyos Shaldekel Hoyim. They used to bring palm branches. V'chovtin Osan v'karka b'tzidei HaMizbeach. They would beat them on the ground, on the sides of the Mizbeach. And we'll go back to this Mishnah Mitzvah a little bit later, but let's just see the Gemara on that. Now, in terms of B'shas P'tirasan, which is a little bit earlier in the Mishnah records a machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chacham. B'shas P'tirasan, when they finished with the Arava on the seventh day of Sukkot, Ma hein omer, what praise did they give to the Mizbeach after beautifying the Mizbeach with the Arava? Tanakama says, Yofi l'cha Mizbeach, Yofi l'cha Mizbeach. How beautiful you are, the Mizbeach. And this is part of the cover that we have to have for the Beis Hamikdash, and especially for the Mizbeach. And the Maharsha has a discussion here, why the repetition. In any event, Rabbi Eliezer disagrees. Liya ulecha mizbeach, liya ulecha mizbeach. The Gemara says the following: that there's an objection that we want to raise against the shita of Rabbi Eliezer. Val kamishtatev shem shamayim v'davar acher. V'sani, we have a brayso called mishtatev Shem Shamayim v'davar acher nekar min ha'olam. Shenemar bilti Hashem levado. So based on a pasuk in Shmot, Perek Chav Beis, which reads, Zovech lelohim, here the word lelohim is referring to other gods, Yechara, bilti Lashem levado. And the bilti Lashem levado is teaching me that the name of Hashem always has to come alone on its own. And we cannot pair it up with any other word referring to any other being or object in the world. And here, according to Rabbi Eliezer, we actually integrate our praise for God with our praise for the Mizbeach in one Sheva. And that should be a violation of Mishtatev Shem Shamayim v'davar acher. So the Gemara now reinterprets the phrase that Rabbi Eliezer formulated. Liya anachnu modim, and that's one part of the sentence. We give Hodoya and Shevach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we recognize that you are God. That's an acknowledgement on our part. And then, after that, Liya, and then Anachnu modim, we give that praise to God. Ulecha anu mekalsin. And as far as the Mizbeach is concerned, we also have Divrei Shevach. So we separate the Divrei Shevach HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the Divrei Shevach to the Mizbeach. So it's not Mishtatev Shem Shamayim v'davar. The Mishnah says, Kimaseu b'chol. And then Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka tells us that we have to bring also charios and beat them on the ground at the side of the Mizbech. And that day was called Yom Chibud Bech. Yom, what is it called here? Let's get language. Yom Chibud is the day of Chibud Charayos. Now, what exactly are charayos? The lulav grows on the tree, and after a number of years, 2 or 3 years, the leaves of the lulav start spreading out and they get hard. They move away from the shidra, and you cannot press them back onto the shidra. So they're possible for lulav, but they're called charayos. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka holds that we are obligated to use on, as part of the ceremony on the Mizbeach, charayos as well. My time with Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, from whence did he derive the conclusion that there's an additional aspect to the ceremony that takes place when we circle the Mizbeach, the Sid Kapos. And Kapos indicates in the plural, nine, a minimum of 2. Achas lulav, the achas l'mizbeach. So when the Torah describes the lulav as kapos tamarim, the use of the plural indicates that in addition to the lulav, there's something else that we take from barim, from the palm tree, and that is the charayos that are later on the tree. And according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, the word charayos, and that's how Rashi indicates those older branches of the lulav tree. Rabbanan Amri Chapos, the Torah left out the vav to indicate a mute that we shouldn't take it 2 lulav, but only 1 lulav. So the ceremony that Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka advocates is not accepted according to the Chacham. However, now the Gemara offers another interpretation of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. How did he derive the addition of charayos in the ceremony of Hekef Mizbech, not from the Pasuk, but Rabbi Levi Omer Kit Tamar, that we bring these branches because of the Tamar, because of the palm tree, what's called a date palm. Ma Tamar Zeh, Ein lo elo lev echad, af Yisrael ein lo elo lev echad avim shebashamayim. The date palm has only 1 heart, and that is a metaphor for Klal Yisrael. They too are totally singularly dedicated to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Avim Shemayim, with 1 heart. And the heart of the date palm is the sap. And unlike the saps of other trees, like olive trees or almond trees, the sap of the date palm is found only in its trunk, but not in its branches nor in its leaves. The tree possesses only 1 single heart. So according to Rabbi Levi, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka derived this conclusion not from a plus, it's not an absolute theory, it's rather a binod. And it was instituted for this reason, to demonstrate the greatness of Klal Yisrael in terms of their dedication to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now this is in contrast to Rav Huna, and Tosfos points out that in addition to the distinction between what might be, according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, an absolute chiyuv, and what is, according to Rabbi Levi, a custom, then it could be that if it's only a custom based on Rabbi Levi's interpretation, then it has to be added to the mitzvah of our Rav. There's no separate mitzvah to take the charayos, even according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. And the Maram adds a point that Rabbi Levi is motivated by the fact that we don't establish new rituals in the Beis HaMikdash unless it's connected to an already pre-existing ritual service. So therefore, according to Rabbi Levi, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka agrees that the aravos, which are used in this mitzvah, have to be enhanced by the palm trees. So we're not replacing the arava in a sense. He's just saying that in addition to the arava, we take the palm branches, these charayos, to allude metaphorically to the single-minded dedication of Klal Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the love for Israel. According to the first opinion, there's such a thing as a palm branch ceremony. Now, according to Afuna, Rabbi Yochanan Broka is disagreeing as to what sort of a branch is used in the ceremony. Is it an arava or is it a palm branch? It's a 7-day ceremony, and we take these branches, according to Afuna's interpretation, for 7 days. According to Rabbi Levi, on the other hand, the palm branches are not the essence of the mitzvah of circling the Mizbeach. They're added to increase our chem in the eyes. Now, the Ritva, we wanted to point out, has a different interpretation of the word charios. He says that charios also refer to young lulavim, not to these mature branches that Rashi uses. And the Ritva understands that since the pasuk teaches us that we take the palm branch, according to Rav Huna's presentation, Rabbi Yochanan, is in fact the pasuk of lulav, of kapos tamarim. Therefore, it means that this is another obligation of the lulav.